Well, it's an honor to be here at the FFCA with the legend Jim Tressel.
Yes, sir.
The Ohio
My
State
honor.
Buckeye. I mean, I grew up, you were at Miami, Ohio. I was a quarterback at South Bend Clay. I came to your camp. You didn't recruit me. What the hell?
You know, it was a little bit about your delivery.
Yeah? Is that what it was?
It was a delivery. And the fact that I didn't recruit any quarterbacks my height. That was,
Yeah.
You know, that
was a bad sign.
That was a bad sign.
That's why I went to Dayton. Anyways,
Muskingum.
I went to Muskingum, then to Dayton.
Darrell Hazel would have never been heard of without you.
I helped develop Darrell Hazel. That's
right.
another story. But I got to ask you this. My boss, Dave Portnoy, Barstool, he's a big Michigan guy. He's gloating right now pretty good. They beat Ohio State 2 years in a row. So I had to get the GOAT, Jim Tressel. I mean, you're 9-1 against Michigan, and you're still pissed off about that one loss, right? But 9-1 against the Wolverines. Can you just summarize that week, the meaning of that game, the way you saw it?
Well, you know, having grown up in Ohio, and my dad was a Division III coach at Baldwin Wallace, and your dad started at Heidelberg, so our seasons were over the week before the Ohio State-Michigan game. So the first time I ever got to see my dad was the week after the season. So it was tradition. We watched that game. It was like the first time you got time with them. And that meant everything, that game. And then, of course, went to work for Earl Bruce. And Earl was tough, as you know.
Yeah.
And he made sure we understood how important that game was. And but, you know, you could just feel it. You know, there's something about those, so often it meant a lot. You know, who was going to win the Big Ten or who was going to the Rose Bowl.
Give me the goods, man. I mean, come on. It's Michigan week. You're the head coach now at Ohio State. What's going through the?
You know, you're trying to calm them down. But then you're bringing in Jack Tatum and you're bringing in Rex Kern and you're bringing in this person and you're bringing in that person just so they understand it. And, you know, of course, we had that tradition that if you beat Michigan, you get a little inch-and-a-half pair of what we called gold pants, which started back at Francis Schmidt in the 30s. We had lost like 15 times in a row to Michigan. He came in as the new coach, and they said, well, what are you going to do to beat Michigan? He said, hey, they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like we do. And he proceeded to beat them 3 in a row. So every time you beat Michigan, you get a pair of gold pants with the score. Nice. And it's the most prized possession anyone has that played or coached there. And so you didn't have to worry about getting them ready for that game. You had to make sure you calmed it down. But I think the key to the game, and this is the key to any big game, you can't worry about, oh, I wonder if we're going to win. You got to worry about what do we have to do to win. And so many people, oh, I wonder if we're going to win that game. You've got to make sure they're thinking about what do we got to do to win first down, what do we got to do when if we're coming out, what do we got to do, sudden change, and not just are we going to win the game. So that's what you were in the midst of. They were hyped out of their minds. They knew it meant the world. They've heard about it their whole lives. You got to get them understand we got to do it one play at a time.
You did it well, brother.
But you know, I was one of the original, I don't know about original, but early guests on Barstool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that little known things, you know. Back in 2016-ish, I think, right in there, they came up to campus. I was president at Youngstown State, and you can go back in the archives. I gave a great lecture about the importance of the punt.
I remember this. That's your greatest quote. I read your greatest quote. The most important play in football is a punt.
It is.
Now, I would say, you got to be kidding me. I used to scream, punt! God damn it, we got to punt the ball. I hated it.
Right.
Why'd you say that?
Because it's the most devastating thing. If you have a punt blocked, you're probably not going to win the game.
Probably right. Yeah.
You bring a punt back, you're probably going to win the game. Think about our game this year, Ohio State, Indiana. They're undefeated.
Punt return.
Punt return, and the guy dropped the punt snap. It was a 14-point game.
No wonder you.
How do you like me now?
No wonder you beat Michigan 9. You're a lot smarter coach than me.
The most important play. But anyway, so you got me off track.
I'm sorry.
When you get older, you get off track, and then you can't get back on track. But I know where I was going. I don't know who the guys were that came up. They were the upstarts of Barstool. I don't know their names. And they had called and said something about they were doing this thing. And and Coach Pelini was our coach, and they were doing something with Faux Pelini website. I can't remember what it was. I said, yeah, sure, I'll do an interview and so forth. Well, now Barstool is a big deal.
Sure is.
I've gotten 0 royalties, and they probably replayed my bit about the punt many times.
You got nothing for it.
Nothing for it. And then I find out a guy named Portnoy or something, is that his name?
Yeah, Dave Portnoy.
Is a Michigan guy.
Yes.
I would like you to retract my.
Don't come to me with your complaints now. This is just all fun here.
I need that video back so that he's a Michigan guy.
Yeah, he is. He's very proud of it right now, too. They just beat Alabama. They just knocked your Ohio State Buckeyes on their ass. But I got to ask you this. With all this NIL, all this transfer crap going on, I'm not a big fan of that. I understand it's important for some, but I don't want to get into that. The Ohio State. I just want young players out there, fans to know. Why would you go to Ohio State? When you were recruiting, let's say I was a hot shot recruit. Why would I be interested? Why would you go to Ohio State? What's it so great? What makes it so great?
You've been at great places like Tennessee, and you know, so we all talk about it's the greatest environment in college football. We happen to believe the same. Right now, arguably, the finest conference in college football. I mean, look at the
results.
Look at the results. There's, you know, top 3 or 4 out of 6. The proud tradition of Ohio State. The rest of your life, you get to carry that moniker with you. And I'm a Ryan Day fan. I think he helps grow players into the kind of men they need to be. Ohio State doesn't have to apologize for how many people we've sent to the NFL.
Yes, you do. That's
You know,
right.
this century, no one's won more games since 2000 than Ohio State. I think there's a lot of reasons. Obviously, a great academic institution as well, and it's the place to be. And you know what? We're on a little bit of a roll right now.
You watch this Ohio State team now. Jim Tressel, all those great moments at Ohio State. What do you see from the Buckeyes? What do you expect from the Buckeyes against Texas and moving forward in this year's tournament?
Well, I have to tell you this. I was at spring practice and watching this guy on the other side of the field, number 4.
Yeah.
And practice gets over with. I'm talking with Ryan. I said, Ryan, I know I'm a dinosaur, but I don't think you're going to miss that Marvin Harrison as much as you think you are.
Guy's good, isn't he?
Good. So I would say if we get the ball to 4 a little bit, we've got 2 really good running backs. The line is, you know, they were banged up, but now they've been playing together for a couple weeks. Defensively, we've been solid. Now, I will say this. This is going to be, Texas will be a battle. You know, I thought we had an advantage against Tennessee because we were not in a good mood after Michigan. It was 10 degrees. They got a couple guys banged up. You know, we got ahead of them. I thought we had a little bit of an emotional advantage over Oregon, you know, because they'd beat us earlier in the year. And we got to hear, you know, we had to hear that. You know, it is the second time you play someone, right?
Yep.
Haven't played Texas. They haven't played their best the last couple weeks. You better assume that they're going to play 14 points better than you've ever seen them on film. But I think we'll be fine.
You're
just my
else,
prediction.
Man. Yeah. You're the Ohio State nation out there, the legion of fans, the global, you know, the globalness of the Buckeyes. What's your message to those Ohio State fans getting ready for Texas tomorrow night?
You know what?
Yeah,
I just had this conversation
like
with Ryan.
you're in the locker room with them.
It's the playoffs, and it's different. You know, we used to play a regular season in a bowl game.
Yeah.
Now you got to play 4 top 10 teams in a row to be the champions. So the players need to know that they've got to have that emotional tank full, but so do the fans. One thing I noticed in 1AA when we're in the playoffs every year and going to national championships, the fans got tired. Like, well, I don't think I'm going to go to this game. I'm going to save my money for the championship. I said, whoa, we got to win this game.
Yeah, that's
So that's my message to the fans right now. Don't be saving your money and your energy and your vibes for Atlanta. We got to win in Dallas.
put all the chips on the table
All
in
of them.
Dallas.
All of them.
I work with this guy at Barstool. He's kind of famous. His name is Ohio Tate. Get
Ohio
it?
Tate?
Ohio State. Ohio. His name is Tate. He goes by Ohio Tate.
Is he from Ohio?
He's from Ohio. He's in love with the Buckeyes. And every time the Buckeyes lose, he says, I'm so confident if they lose, I'll do this. For instance, if they lose to Iowa, I'll eat a bag of corn every day for a week. So what punishment would the great Jim Tressel give this Ohio Tate if they lose to Texas? Come up with something you want. Yeah, what punishment? You said it earlier. You don't think they're going to lose.
No, they're not going to lose. What punishment would we give Ohio Tate?
I mean, it can be evil. It can be sinister. It can be whatever you want. If they lose to Texas, we're blaming Ohio Tate. I mean, some of these punishments, he's got ride a mechanical bull for as many minutes as Texas scores, be a rodeo crown, drive to Amarillo, Texas, and live stream the Big Texan 72-ounce challenge, whatever the hell that is, get branded, eat 5 ounces of steak for, I mean, the guy's got some lame punishments here that people are recommended, but I want to go to the source, the GOAT.
Let's give him one that would be healthy.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's walk from Dallas to Houston.
That's good.
Because that's probably, that's probably where their players are from.
Yeah.
Just like ours, our largest majority is from Ohio. Theirs is probably Dallas to Houston, right?
So, Ohio Tate, you got to walk from Dallas to Houston. And you got one of those GoPros filming you the whole way.
And we'll meet him there.
We'll meet him there.
We'll meet him there.
For dinner. Last question I had for you. You're a great coach. I've had a chance to speak at your clinic. I was recruited by you. My dad grew up with you. I mean, I've been following your career forever. Give me a couple Jim Tressel isms. Some of the things that you said, just a couple things that you said to your team. Just philosophy things, because you had some of the greatest speeches I've ever heard. What were some of the things that you reiterated with your team every year?
Well, since you're the quarterback guru, okay, and I was a undersized, outstanding quarterback like yourself, probably overlooked by the bigger schools, which still makes me mad. But anyway, here was my ism for my quarterbacks.
Okay.
There's hundreds of things we're going to ask you to do, but there's only 3 that will determine whether or not the team wins. Now, a lot of these other things will determine how good you are and, so forth, but without these 3, we don't win. 1, you have to make great decisions because you're the last decision maker. The coaches can call plays, but you need to clean that up sometimes. You need to get us out of some bad ones. You need to, when the play wasn't the right one, to throw it away. The best throw of the day might be a throwaway, right?
Yes, sir.
Number 2, you have to eliminate turnovers. There's nothing more that devastates a football team than you giving the other team the ball.
I'm totally with you.
And no one has control over that as much as you. So you have to do that. And the third thing you have to do, or we can't be great, is you have to make big plays. And I don't know when the big play will be. Everyone says, well, what's it take to win a national championship? You guys have won 5 championships. What's it take? It takes 1 play. But you just don't know which one. And you're going to have to make big plays. So that was what our quarterbacks lived by, the big 3. Now, they had to do all those other things. There's a boatload of other things. But if they didn't do the big 3, I don't care how well their 5-step drop was or whatever.
That's good.
They got to do those 3.
This guy over here, Jeff Leonardo, he's your biggest fan. He's the biggest Ohio State fan. It's almost embarrassing how much he lives and dies with the Buckeyes. So I'm going to let him ask one question of the boss here. What do you got for him?
Are we going to beat Michigan next year?
Oh, absolutely. Up there. It'll make it sweeter.
What about the vest? What's the deal with the vest?
I
mean, you're wearing, if you walk in here today, you got a vest on.
So So we got to Ohio State in 01. And sitting with the Nike people and all that, we had a Nike contract, and they said, well, what do you wear on the sidelines? I said, well, normally at Youngstown State, we played at night. It's in a cooler environment, coaching shirt. I usually wore a sweater vest because I don't like being cold. They said, you're wearing a sweater vest. I said, okay. So then we get to the first game. It's like August 31st at noon.
You're wearing a sweater
and it's
vest.
90 degrees.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing a sweater vest, and I'm sweating like a pig. And I'm thinking, these people got to think I'm crazy. They got to think I fell off the turnip wagon or something. But I had to wear a sweater vest.
Why'd you have to wear it? Can't you say it's too hot?
Nike contract.
Oh, jeez. You must have been getting some money, huh, for that vest?
I think Ohio State was getting some money, but then they gave me some.
When the Hurricanes came out of the locker room, the national championship game, that might have been, on paper, the greatest college football team I've ever seen.
Yeah,
you
were
talk
good.
about tight ends and backs.
Right. How about
No
the
way.
defense?
How about the defense? I mean, but anyways, when you're watching them in pregame warm-up, what are you thinking? Are you thinking, really, we're going to beat their ass, Miami Hurricanes, with all those first-rounders? They got lottery picks at every position.
Yeah, no, they did. Well, here was what the good thing was that we thought all along, and I thought when they came out of the locker room that, yeah, this is what we thought. We knew how good they were. Everybody in America, they had won 34 straight games. The year before, the national championship game was like 59-12 or something.
Yeah, I mean,
right? So we knew how good they were. We were pretty sure they didn't know how good we were. And that if we could shock them right out of the gate, you know how it is to turn mindset? It doesn't happen in 2 hours. Mm-hmm. Mindset gets built for weeks.
Yep.
And now, we also thought we're going to have to do some extraordinary things. We're going to have to play better than we've ever played and all that. But we felt good about the fact that we were getting better and had a lot of close games. I don't think they had a game within 3 touchdowns, you know.
Yeah, they had been in a cutting game like that, man.
And when first couple drives, our defensive line shocked their offensive line, we thought we had a chance.
That was one of my greatest nights watching that game, man.
That was a good
I love
one.
you, Coach.
That was
Thanks
a
for
good
doing
one.
this, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
My honor.
appreciate you.
Thank you.